take. But it'll make sense.
F5.
Okay. The person that I chose is named Ruth Mendel, and I chose her because she struck me on a personal note, because all of us have someone that's our person, someone that we care about, someone that we would go to great lengths to save or to help or that we feel responsible for. The reason that she's alive is because she was someone's person. Someone went to great lengths to save her. And so she felt that it was necessary to talk about that. She was born in Frankfurt, Germany in 1929. This is what it looked like before it was bombed to rubble. And I want you guys to think back to when you were 14 years old. When Ruth was 14 years old, she was sent to Auschwitz. And I need you guys to think about it. What did you do when you were 14? What did your life look like? What were your biggest burdens? What things weighed heavy on you? And the rock that you all have is kind of supposed to represent your burden as a 14-year-old. I think most of us could say we had it pretty good. You know, we live in the United States. There was nobody knocking on our doors or underneath us because we were being too loud or anything like that. And I need to introduce you to my niece, Kirsty. Kirsty is going to be my Ruth. She's 14 years old. She's in the 8th grade, and she's my niece. And the picture that you have is of Kirsty and her mom. And no matter how many times I thought about it, I could not wrap my head around the idea of them being sent to a concentration camp. So she's going to help us, come stand here. She's going to help us portray the burden that Ruth was made to bear. So Ruth's family started out kind of being overlooked because her father was a Czechoslovakian citizen. And so because of that, they didn't have to wear the Jewish star at first. They were kind of just left alone, other than they had German people living underneath them that were not very nice to them. But at the end of the day, she was still Jewish. So, anti-rock. Okay. Then, in about 1942, she did have to wear the star, and with that came extreme persecution at school, at work, at play. Her mom would not allow her to play with non-Jewish kids because she told her flat out, if there comes to be a conflict between two children and the parents get involved, a non-Jewish parent will not win out against a Jewish parent. I have the leverage, I can't help you, so just don't play with them. So she learned loneliness at a pretty early age. And then, when she was about 13, she got ran over by a German youth, Hitler youth, he was riding a bike, and he ran her over on purpose. And her parents were there, and they could do nothing, because it would just bring more discontent and discord in their lives. Okay, and by 1943, the ghettos had been cleared and all her friends had been taken away, and she knew loneliness. She knew what it felt like to be one of the few Jews left. So she was asked, do you feel humiliated as a Jew? Like, were you made to feel humiliated? She said, every time an SS man or an SS woman started howling Judenschwein or whatever else went with it, I looked around me and saw what was happening and tried to keep in mind who the real Schwein were. They or us. So I think she kept a pretty good perspective in light of the weight that she packed. In April of 1943, she was sent to Auschwitz. Auschwitz was a big burden for her as a 14-year-old. Really sorry, I didn't dance. It was really good. It was a big burden, so she gets 2 rocks for that. While she was out, she said she was sent to Auschwitz because in that same month, Hitler had lost the elections right then. And so as a birthday gift, the SS soldiers in her area decided they were going to make their area Juden-free. So that was why she got sent to Auschwitz. But there were only 37 people left in her area to be sent. So it was a very small group considering all of that. And because of that, it saved them from being gassed. She found out later that women and children were gassed immediately upon entering Auschwitz. But she wasn't, because an SS soldier said, well, they'll die soon anyway, so it doesn't pay to run gas into trains for just a few. So because there was only a few left, it essentially saved her life. She said when we arrived there, the SS were there with their dogs and their white gloves and their whips in their hands and their beautifully pressed uniforms. And it struck her, even as a young kid, how that was kind of an oxymoron. Once she was there, she had to work really hard. She got typhus while she was there. Okay, she got typhus, and she was really, really out of it for most of it. And this is where her person came in. This is where her mom came in and helped her bear this load. She helped her pack it around with her. Her mom would, it's hard for me because I'm a mom, and I can see that I would do this. Her mom would drag her out of bed in the morning after she fed her, both her and either her meal and her meal. So she essentially got 400 calories instead of 200. And then she would lock her knees in line so that she would stay standing while the Germans came down the line. And then she would watch all day really closely to make sure that when a soldier was near, her little girl looked like she was working so she didn't get sent and gassed. So that's kind of why I chose her, because I thought I would fight this hard to save someone. She said, I was sort of semi-conscious and having this typhus and being dehydrated. This is in response to the interviewer saying to her, did you think you were going to live or die? And she said both. She said, I was dehydrated and running with diarrhea and all these things, and I was sitting there and I was looking at my mother and she was holding my hand, the only medication. And I was thinking, I cannot do this to my mother. She lost her husband, she lost her home, she lost her business. She had lost everything, and even my brother wasn't with us. The situation was not good, and I could not let myself die because that would be one more thing that would add to her grief. I think that was one of the things that got me through. Okay. But on November 1st, 1944, her and her mother were put on a train and sent to a work camp, and she said the conditions there were better, so we get to take 2 out because she no longer has typhus, and she's no longer at Auschwitz. There you go. She said that on the way there, she remembers there was no food or water for them. What I remember about Ravensbrück mostly was that it was raining, and we were so parched that we stuck out our spoons. We had these ugly little rusty spoons, so we'd stick them out under the tent, and we were waiting for the drops of rainwater to accumulate so that we would have something to drink, and this was in transport on the way there. And then she said she was at work there making bullets, but the conditions were better. They had a little wardrobe next to their bed, and she goes, we remember thinking, oh my gosh, there's this big world out there that we've forgotten about. And it was such a simple pleasure. She goes, we didn't have anything to put in the wardrobe, not our rusty spoon. But she was so excited that that there was normalcy here, and that gave her a little bit of hope. And they were making bullets at this camp, and they were being watched over by guards, very, very closely watched over. And she said her effort to aid in the fight against Hitler was she would misalign the bullets, just the bullet, the top of it to the casing. She would misalign it just as many millimeters as she dared without getting caught. And she's like, if it just misfires one gun, then I'm helping. So she said that was what her biggest thing was. When they came home, they were finally released. They returned home and found that they didn't really have anything left, but they had left a trunk full of their valuable possessions with this rich man who was a friend of theirs. He was German. So they went to find him. When they came back, they found him on the street crying, and he was saying, oh, the liberating soldiers had taken over his house and all of his things, and he was so sad. Could you please go talk to them, because tell them I'm a good person, get my stuff back, basically. So they go from person to person, her and her mom, all day. They finally get to his house and get to talk with someone, and there's soldiers all over his house, and the soldiers show them all this evidence that he was a member of the Nazi party since before Hitler had come to power. So everything about her life was distressed and disgusting to her because she thought, they thought they knew this person, and he had helped them, like he had done stuff. And as they're walking around the house, 2 of the paintings that they had stuck down in the trunk were hanging on the wall in his house. And so her mom went up and got one of the paintings and stuck it under her arm and started to walk out. And one of the soldiers goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And she said, "It's mine." That's all she said. And he goes, "Okay." And she left with her painting with a few things that she found around the house that was theirs. Though she had a name and she was a real person, she was a human being, to the Nazi regime, she was just a number. She was just another Jew in a camp. She was stripped of her belongings, her hair, and she was tattooed. Some of the things that she was made to bear was more visible than others, but like the tattoo, much of it was permanent. She was asked if she ever went back to Germany, because after the war was over and she got out, she moved to the United States. She immigrated. And she said, "Yep, we returned." She said, "I returned 3 times. The first time, Germany was still in rubble. Her home was still, there was nothing left of it." And she said that she remembers standing there looking at the rubble and thinking, "Oh my gosh, I bet people died in there." And then she was so mad at herself for having pity for these few Germans who died in the rubble, and she couldn't forgive herself because she said, they deserve this fate. They killed and ruined so many of my lives and my friends' lives and my mom's life. They deserve this. I can't believe for 1 second that I had pity for them. And she, harshly, in the book, it's very harsh, I recommend. And then this is one of the closing quotes that I really like. She said, "So when I go to Germany, I'm looking at the people that turned from these beautiful posters, these blonde, blue-eyed posters. They're turning into these old, decrepit people. They're not super people like they wanted us to believe. They're really just humans like anybody else." I think Ruth Mandel, as you can see, she still bears the burden of so many years, and not because she was a bad person, not because she did anything wrong. It was simply because she was Jewish in a land where it was not accepted to be that way. Thank you.